Okay, can we go around and just to log your attendance, go ahead and share your name and what is it that you would like to get out of this meeting today? Who would like to start?
I can go. This is Lewis
Mm.
in Texas.
Hi, Lewis.
Can you hear me? Or...
Yes, yes, and we can
okay.
see you too. Thank you for sharing your webcam.
Yeah, am I the only one on the webcam?
You are. How does everybody feel?
Oh, there we
Wanna be on the
go.
web?
Okay, there's
Is
Anna.
that
There we
Anna?
go.
Okay.
I
Here,
was
I'll
wondering,
share
I
as
was looking
well.
at myself and was like, maybe I'm doing this wrong. So, okay. What did you want us to say? What about the class?
So share, what would you like to get out of this meeting today?
Oh, okay. Well, my name's Lewis, and I am from Houston. I've had, I think, everyone in the class before, so that was really good. And I guess to get something to get out of this meeting would be, I kind of know what the class is about, but I guess to see expectations, what is the class about, the focus. And well, in terms of everyone in the cohort, I don't know everyone really well, but I know I've had just about everyone in the class, so kind of excited about that. And you were saying it's hot. We're hitting everyone in Texas knows we're hitting 100 degrees every day till like Sunday. It was
okay.
102 today, so
yeah.
it's been
oh gosh, yeah. Okay, thank you, Lewis. Who would like to share next?
I don't mind sharing. Thank you, Dr. Green, for being such an organized professor. It just makes a huge difference, and that has not always happened in my experience of the degree. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was wondering if for today's meeting, I could ask you to maybe build upon that strength a little bit. And could you please share a little bit of what the first, this group assignment is about, because I have read the expectation, but I think I'm still a little bit fuzzy on what that first group assignment is about. And then the group presentation / discussion, I wasn't quite sure how that worked. And then I am presuming that those two things build into the signature assignment. So I was just wondering if you could clarify a little bit more. And all of that is with a huge appreciation for your organization and involvement in the discussions. It is not, unfortunately, consistent across my experience with the program, but that's why I'm saying I really appreciate it.
Oh, great. Thank you for that feedback. Okay, Sean?
They did such a good job in asking what I wanted. Yes, really, it'll be great if we can have the expectation. I just want to understand further about that, and especially also the signature assignment. Just to get additional information about that. And our first writing assignment is due this Sunday, and it's mostly about the literature review, correct?
Yes,
and then a 2-page sort of summary of that literature review.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Definitely, I can go over the literature review, also about the signature assignment and the group assignment. So do a run through about the expectations of those assignments. No problem. Okay. Who else do we have? What about Carrie? Carrie, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm here. I kind of like along with everyone else, I'm just kind of wondering if you had any insights onto the signature assignment and the group assignment. Those were two things that I was concerned about. But yeah, I'm here.
Sure. All right. And then Waleska.
Hi, this is Waleska. Thank you for organizing this, Dr. Green, and my sentiments are with everybody else for organizing it. And I guess for me, it's just an opportunity to, get up to date and get the insight on, the class, laying the foundation for the next 7 weeks. And I too want to learn a little bit more clarification on the upcoming assignments.
Okay, great. I believe that's everybody. We have Louise, Anna, Carrie. Oh, Lizette.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry. I have my nephew with me, so you might hear a little baby cooing in the back.
No worries.
So what I'm trying to get out of this class is, because qualitative is my research methodology for my dissertation, and I'm actually just trying to iron out basically what it is I'm going to be putting in my dissertation, how I can understand it correctly and put it in my dissertation to the point where it's adequate, basically.
Okay.
It's where I'm trying to get out of this class. What else? I know we talked about the weather. Yeah, I agree with Louis, or is it Louis or Sean that was mentioning? Yeah, Texas has been 100 for like past 2 months. It's just been 100 nonstop. So it's just been crazy. So
yeah.
And I have family right now who have been evacuated from Charleston to North Carolina because of the weather. So, and family in Bahamas who are impacted severely because of the hurricane. So yeah, just keeping them in prayers and stuff will be great. So thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I imagine that the hurricanes are causing some of this heat wave, right? Okay. All right. So it looks like we're all on the same page here. And first of all, I just wanted to thank all of you for your active participation in the discussions and for being so thoughtful about the discussions and starting the discussion threads early on. And that isn't very consistent in other classes where they wait till the last minute, you know, Wednesday, sometimes even Thursday. So it's great to get a jump start on these discussions. So let's see, let's start with the, basically the focus of this class is on qualitative methodology. So I know that many of you are interested in mixed methods, which is the type of research that I did, and I am a huge proponent of mixed methods. But for this class, we're really focused on qualitative methodology. We really want you to understand all the different approaches, the different qualitative approaches. And so really try to focus in your assignments and your discussions on qualitative. Don't get mixed up with the quantitative or the mixed methodology. Some of you have already mentioned, you know, using Likert scales and different quantitative methods or approaches, but we really want to reserve that for the next class that you'll be taking, which is quasi-experimental methods, and that's going to be all about mixed methodology. Okay. Are there any questions about that clarification? No? Okay. Because qualitative methods is a very specific, I mean, we want to really understand all the different types. And because of that, there's the different approaches of qualitative. You have to start with the theoretical assumptions, right? We talked about that, the philosophical assumptions, the theoretical framework, and the assumptions as well. And that's going to guide you and lead you into your methodology. So really, you want to understand that process. And Cresswell does a great job in explaining that and kind of leading us through that process. So really stick to that because that's going to guide and make it so much easier for you when you establish your research question. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's talk about the written assignment. Let me pull that up.
Oh, I have a quick question.
Sure.
You know, I was just looking, I remember the last professor mentioned that after this class, we have one more class and then we'll have our comprehensive. And should we just keep our textbook because we're going to have to reference that or review that for our comprehensive? I've just been renting it. And so I'm just thinking ahead of time and these sort of things.
Are you talking about the qualitative inquiry book?
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about? You know, yeah. I use it all the time. So in designing research for, in my work, it's a good one to keep. So I would recommend purchasing it if you can, or yeah.
All right, thank
Sean,
you.
Go ahead.
I got it off Amazon. It was $20 cheaper than the marketplace thing.
For sure. Yeah, Amazon is Amazon and even Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at, I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So does everybody see my screen? So this is the written assignment that's due this Sunday. And so looking at the readings as well as the 2 videos on literature reviews, Get Lit, was everybody able to access that? I know, I think the link was broken initially and somebody alerted me to it, so I quickly fixed it. Were you able to view it?
Was that the one about A&M, Texas A&M?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it was that lecture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically the literature review matrix, it's, you should have received it, let's see. It's in the modules. Okay, so
yes,
you're going to, so everybody has the literature review matrix, and it's an Excel spreadsheet, and it, basically you're going to do a review of the relevant literature that's related to your topic that you've chosen. And in your discussions for this week, you have already begun to think about a qualitative study, and really stick to qualitative because that's what this course is about. And according to your topic, you're going to find articles that's relevant to your topic, and you're going to read it over and fill out the matrix. So let me find it here. Here we go. Okay, so does everybody see the literature review matrix here? So what you're doing is you're going to identify the author, the title, the topic, reading through it. Who is the sample population? So in that box, you're just going to sort of briefly list, how many participants, what type of participant was sampled, in what city or state or country, as much information there, but keep it brief. And then the purpose of the study, what was the aim of the study? Why were they conducting this study? And then what is the research question? What methodology did they use? What were the findings, the conclusions, and any recommendations that the article had? In every research article or research study, they list recommendations for future research or future exploration. So you'll want to put in that slot there any recommendations that the author had to further along the discussion. Does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you'll complete that. And along with that, you're going to write a paper. So back to the assignments here. Okay. So 7 articles, and it has to be from a scholarly article, right? And generally, I would recommend go to the library database. Don't find articles from websites or, make sure that it's a peer-reviewed article from a relevant source, like any of the journals, any of the cross-cultural journals or international psychology journals, but make sure that it's relevant to your topic. And the topic that you chose was the one from this week's discussion, right? So make sure that what your the topic and the methodology from the discussion is in alignment with this week's assignment, and keep it qualitative. Okay. So is
it okay if we find like an article, mine's phenomenological, but say there was one on case study, and maybe just add one to compare it, or to
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I know that won't be my focus. I mean, all the other ones will be phenomenology, but to find one like to compare contrast, I don't know, compare contrast.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't so much matter what the methodology is, as long as it matches your topic.
Okay.
Right, because when you're designing a qualitative study, you want to build on what is the existing research, so that you know that this topic has been explored using qualitative measures, quantitative measures, mixed methods, and then that way it'll give you an idea of what has already been done and what your research could add to it, right? Maybe there's a lot of research on your topic using quantitative methods, but in that, and that's why it's important to read about what those authors are saying about recommendations, because perhaps a qualitative study could fill in those gaps, right? If they found, you know, maybe they conducted a study and they administered some scales, but you don't really know the full story behind the phenomenon. So you might want to interview them. So that would give you a hint as to, or you know, some direction on how to design your qualitative study. Okay. So the 2-page narrative is basically a description of the context of the topic, and also your research question, and also your qualitative design choice. Okay, so 2 pages minus the title page, abstract, and references. So the 2 pages of content that describes the background, the context of your research question, briefly mention which population, which country, and then the qualitative design of your choice. Make sure it's an APA format. Okay, is that clear? Any questions about that?
I have a quick question. For the matrix, how do you want us to be brief or with like bullet points for it, or do you want us? Because I'm looking at it and it can get lengthy.
Yeah.
If, you know, so like how short or long do you actually want that for each reference?
I would say keep it succinct. You don't have to, you know, it's a matrix, right? So enough information that gives the reader an idea of what the article is saying, right? What are the main points? What's the purpose of the article? What was their methodology? What were the key findings? Just briefly.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so a few of you have already emailed me clarifying your research question. If you have any further questions prior to Sunday, feel free to email me and ask me for more feedback on it. I think I responded to almost everybody today. I made it a point to read through everybody's. I think there's two or three students that I'm still needing to respond to. But so far it looks good. So I'm just trying to encourage you to think specifically about what your question is, and also, you know, for you to identify the population and the country, especially because this is an international psychology program. You want to make sure that you're examining a specific culture, a specific population, And if you're going to do a study in the United States for this assignment, make sure that there's diversity principles in there, right? Any questions about that?
I guess I have a question. I will plan to email you. This is Waleska. But I feel like my question that I proposed, I just kind of used some stuff that I've been exposed to in the past and wasn't really narrowing it down in preparation for Sunday or for the assignment on Sunday. So would it be all right if I do a little bit of another revision to make sure that I can get it? Or were you expecting that we just kind of stay with what we already presented?
Yeah, if you want to change it, feel free to email it to me first before you change it. So I like to look at it first, just to make sure that you're on the right track.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. So now let's look at the group assignment.
I have a quick question before about the group project. I know that on one of the announcements you made, you referred to creating a discussion group for each of our own groups.
Yeah. Are you able to view it?
Well, I did that, but then my like the people that are in the group are not, I don't know if they're able to see it. And like it's a separate canvas. It's not within the, so I didn't know if that was part of it or.
Yeah, so I've created a separate canvas for the groups that that only your group members are have access to, right? So I mean, here you're seeing my screen now, so you have access to. There's 5 groups, and so I'm just going to click one. So Group A, for instance, if you go there, this is your own canvas. Yeah. And you should be able to start posting on it. Have you been able to do that?
I have not. I thought that we were active to do our own discussion post because I was kind of confused about that, but
yeah.
But I'm looking at it now.
So yeah, feel free to create your own discussion tabs to organize your work. And I mean, I think that's how it works, right? I mean, you should be able to go in there and start, you know, posting things and having your own discussion. Have you been able to do that?
I guess I'll speak for Group A. There has been some dialogue for Group A. It's a little slow moving with a couple weeks, but we're getting there, I think.
Sure. And you know, do whatever works for you. If that group canvas format isn't working, if your group has a different method that's easier to use, you know, feel free to do what works best for you. What kind of other ways of communication have you been able to use?
I've used email when I've worked with groups through here.
Okay, yeah.
I just keep emailing.
Email or even Google Docs. If you want to work in Google Docs, that's usually a good way to organize your work so that all of you can log into the same document or the same presentation. Okay, let's look at the assignment really quick. So each of you have been assigned to a group, and you're going to select your topic choice from the list below and demonstrate in your discussion both your reasons for the choice and a critical construction for your approach. So each group should identify a lead for the discussion, and only one post needs to be made. Be certain to use at least 5 citations of relevant course material to support your discussion or decisions, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to create a PowerPoint with the audio. You're going to record audio either for your PowerPoint presentation, or you can do Prezi and develop a presentation with 10 to 15 slides on any of these topics. Okay, how does the tradition of anthropology inform today's qualitative research methodology? What components of qualitative research best align with the broader field of international psychology and why? And select one current event your group decides best reflects the qualitative research approach, and how might we respond as an international psychology consultation team to address the problem. So is that clear?
So out of those three, we're just gonna focus on one of them with our topic. So we're not doing all three.
Right, you're not doing all three. You're just going to choose one topic, and as a group, you can decide which one you want to focus on and have a discussion about it, and you know, bring in at least 5 citations. So you could either use from our course materials, or you can do your own research to identify or how to put this presentation together.
When we do the PowerPoint, can we present it on a GoToMeeting? You know, we record it and.
Sure. Yes, you can do that. Mm-hmm. If you do that, if you wouldn't mind also submitting the actual PowerPoint with the notes in there, that way I can have an opportunity to review it that way as well. Either way.
You said the PowerPoint with the what? With
the notes in it. So usually when you have your PowerPoint presentation and you have your talking points, go ahead and cut and paste your talking points onto the notes section.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then for the audio, you could record a GoToMeeting, and then that'll be your presentation part of it. But the content part, it's helpful for me to read over
just the background notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not due for a couple weeks, but I really highly recommend that you get together with your group sooner than later to identify which of the 3 that you want to focus on, and then come up with a strategy. Maybe you could put together an outline of the main points that you want to cover, and then you know, build it using Google Slides, and then you know, each of you, everybody in your group can access the presentation at the same time, and it's kind of nice to be able to do it that way. Let's take a look at the rubric so that we're clear. This is for the discussion. No, that's not the one. Where is that rubric? This is the group discussion, but where is the assignment here? Oh, here it is, sorry. Okay. Okay, so the rubric, it's pretty much similar to a lot of the other assignments, this first part at least. You know, make sure that it's organized. You know, information is presented in an organized and logical sequence, which the audience can follow. Language, so make sure that in your presentation that you're speaking clearly, using appropriate language choices, and that we can hear you clearly. Also in your delivery, appropriate I mean, we may not see you, right? But definitely with your vocal expressiveness and that you use different types of visuals, different materials. Make sure that the text of your presentation is consistent, and that the bullets are consistently designed. Basically what I'm looking for is consistency across all the different slides, and that there's no distracting elements to it, that you use a good amount of visual aids to convey your message. And let's see. Okay, the central question and message is compelling and precisely stated. That you're able to integrate a well-developed cultural context and respect for diversity, reflecting the IP principles, and that your course reading and materials are effectively integrated into the presentation, demonstrating proficient comprehension of qualitative research elements. Okay, so basically in your presentation, your group is going to present your rationale, depending on which focus it is, but your rationale for qualitative research. You know, for the first question, how does the tradition of anthropology inform today's qualitative research methodology? So this is about the history, right? How does anthropology, how did that inform qualitative research? Because that's pretty much how it started. And then what components of qualitative research best aligns with the broader fields of international psychology? So this is looking at why is qualitative research relevant to international psychology? And then this third one is one current event that best reflects the qualitative research approach, and how might we respond as an international psychology consultation team to address the problem? Any specific questions about this? No questions?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, let's look at the signature assignment, the biggie. Okay. So really, we're building, each assignment builds upon the next and the next and the next, right? So that by the end of this course, you pretty much would have a good outline, a good draft of this paper. This is a 5 to 7 page paper to construct a qualitative research project proposal with a specific design option. So one of the 6 that was introduced in Cresswell and in this course that includes the following elements. So this is basically the outline for your 5 to 7 page paper, the working title, the abstract, 2-page background, and that's really, this first 1 through 4 is basically due this Sunday, right? So what I recommend is take the feedback that I give you from this Sunday's paper and refine it towards your signature assignment. Okay, and that's why I highly recommend that when you choose a topic, make sure that the topic is one that you'll want to stick with for the next 5 weeks. Okay, it's you're going to also include the problem statement, the purpose statement, the research questions, the data collection methods, data analysis, and we'll be talking about that, the different types of software that can be used in qualitative analysis, the potential conclusions, because this is a proposal. So you're not actually going to be implementing this, but imagine if, let's say after you graduate and there's an organization that you know is working with this population, you could pitch this to them and who knows, they might hire you. So, okay. Any questions about that?
This is Anna. I do have a quick question about the signature assignment. Is this done as a group in our assigned groups, or is this unique to each person's topic and papers that we've been building individually throughout the course?
The signature assignment is an individual assignment.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so the signature assignment will be based on the topic that you've chosen and the research question that you've chosen from this week's discussion assignment.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You said pages 1 through 4 will be done, because that's our current assignment on Sunday.
That's
so
right.
That's out of 5 to 7 page basically. So we're almost we'll be done through. That's awesome. Okay, just making sure. I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about these signature assignments. They build on each other, right? So we're really working on this every week. And what you're doing is you're refining. You know, you'll submit the assignment this Sunday, and then we'll work on it. I'll review it, give you feedback. You'll refine it and use that as part of your signature assignment. Did somebody join us?
Sorry, that was me. I finally got to my laptop.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So any questions about the signature assignment? No? Okay. I think we covered everything. How are you all feeling about this course so far? About the readings, about the assignments, the discussions? Are you beginning to get a grasp about qualitative research?
I feel good compared to most of us got out of statistics, so this is really different.
Very different. Yeah, yeah. And that's the nice thing about qualitative research. You don't have to do statistics.
I totally agree with him. This is like a breath of fresh air, because last course was really tough, but I think that most of us have qualitative as our option for our dissertation. So it's basically like clarifying a lot of the things that we were kind of nervous about. So I'm actually excited about this course.
Good. I'm glad. Okay. Well, if there aren't any other questions or comments, we can end. It's about 45 minutes in, so.
Dr. Green, I have one more question, if you don't mind. Because this signature assignment has lots of little sections to it that have been built over our work throughout the course, and it, in effect, as you said, is a qualitative research proposal.
Yes.
How much larger will the proposal be if someone's going to do a qualitative dissertation proposal? Are those proposals for the dissertations this length, or are they twice as long? How much bigger are those proposals? 3 times as long? Because I know the literature review for the entire dissertation is 80 to 100 articles. So I was wondering how much more rigor goes into the dissertation qualitative proposal.
Yeah. So this is not a dissertation proposal, right? The signature assignment is definitely not, but what it is it is a mini version of what you might find in a dissertation proposal. The literature review for your dissertation in itself might be 30, 40 pages. Okay. So for this assignment, the minimum is 12 articles. So you're really not doing a thorough review of the research. You're just getting a snapshot of the topic, just enough to ground you on the topic, right? So really, this is a proposal, but it's not. I mean, it's not a dissertation proposal by any means.
Yeah, it's a mini-me proposal. Yeah.
Many. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
7 pages even. It's like, it's a very brief assignment.
Mm-hmm. So for my just kind of long-term planning, if I took this and then multiplied it by maybe about 10 in terms of time,
right.
And that helps plan, you see, that helps. And so this is just a good 10% kind of first go around for becoming. Yeah.
Right. Think of this as an exercise, right? It's an exercise to apply the concepts of qualitative research design. You're going through the exercise of thinking through the theoretical assumptions, your interpretive framework, and coming up with the context and the background. And then you're going to, because you have to do a little bit of research and to understand the context and what the needs are for that population, then that'll give you an understanding of what the problem is, and then the purpose of your research, and then identify what the question is, and then a proposed qualitative research design, the different qualitative data collection methods and analysis. This is just a proposal, so.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? All right. So last thoughts before we log off. Okay, great. Well, we'll continue our discussions on Canvas and in the discussion boards. And feel free to email me if you have any questions about the group assignment, your research questions, your research topic, and remember to stick to qualitative research design. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.